Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got something done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, so I'm in my guest bedroom today because I do have people working in my living room area and my den area, so it's a little bit noisy, and so I couldn't use my studio setup as I normally would. But today we're going to talk about President Biden and what he stated that would make him drop out of the race, and then also what he's going through right now. So President Joe Biden is actually going through a health scare, right? He has COVID, according to CNN, according to those around him and within his cabinet. They're stating that he has COVID. And, you know, just the day before, like literally just the day before, ABC News had also released an article stating that President Joe Biden said in an interview airing on Wednesday that should his doctors tell him he had a medical condition, he would consider leaving office and turning over power to Vice President Kamala Harris in a second term. So, this is a little bit different than what I heard previously. So what was stated previously is that he would consider dropping out. In fact, he would drop out if doctors stated that he was medically unfit to run for presidency. Now, ABC News is stating that he would consider dropping out, not even dropping out, he would consider relinquishing power to Vice President Kamala Harris should he be medically unfit, assuming he wins this presidential election period, right? So what ABC News is stating is that, hey, still have faith in President Joe Biden because should he be medically unfit after being reelected, he would then still pass on that power to Vice President Kamala Harris should doctors deem him medically unfit to run in office. Now, I've been neutral for the most part. I haven't necessarily spoke on either President Joe Biden or former President Donald Trump. To be honest, I don't like either candidate. I'm being completely honest. But I have actually more dislikes. Well, I would actually have to say that there are some policies that I dislike from both candidates. One that former President Donald Trump wants to enact that he has never enacted before. And then things that President Biden is already doing that I dislike, like open borders, no border security, trying to get illegal immigrants to be able to vote so that he can boost his candidacy. All these things that are obvious implications that would tell you, if you're a functioning human being, hey, this should not be allowed in America today, right? These things just absolutely should not be happening, and it's happening right under our noses. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody is doing their part to address this major concern, right? These news outlets are brushing it under the rug as if, oh, these people need our help and need to be saved. There has never been this boatload of people rushing past our border where they all needed to be saved at the same time, with no wars essentially going on within their countries. Now there are people who are even on social media stating, come to America because you can have free this, free housing, free whatever. California is giving those same services to the homeless now for absolutely free. $50 a month to live in luxury. $50 a month to live in a 165 unit building that took 10 billion taxpayer dollars, and that will take 600,000 a year per resident living in that building. They get to enjoy those luxuries for $50 a month, right? That's on the backs of the California taxpayers. So what that tells me is that, one, the cost of living in California is just absolutely astronomical, and it should not be that way. The cost should be lowered for every single citizen within the country, allowing people to get back on their feet and get back to work, and not just be budgeting $50 a month to have a place to reside in luxury, whereas the rest of the world is obviously not able to afford those same luxuries, right? I've gotten to this place where I can interview through my guest room. It's all hard work, right? Nothing was essentially handed down to me in order for me to be able to do this today. I used to live in a room smaller than this when I was in college, right? And so now to be able to just do some YouTube and rumble through this room is a blessing in itself, right? It's another thing that lets me know, oh, I've worked so hard and I've achieved so much, and this is the benefit of that hard work. This is the payoff from doing good deeds, from being consistent, from all of those trials and tribulations. But it's almost as if people don't necessarily think about the policies that are to be enacted. And what I hate the most is that on the Democratic side, the most that you've ever heard from them in the last 3 years has been in the last 2 months when they're running for re-election again. And you have to wonder, why is it that they want to run for re-election when they have done absolutely nothing for the American people, right? They tell you, hey, I'll do this, I'll do that for the American people, but what have they actually done? So I'm speaking my mind today because you guys tuned in to hear what was on my mind. I'm speaking my mind today. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I am telling you what it is. The truth of the matter is that everything that has been done has been self-serving on the Democratic side this year. I'm not going to blame the entire Democratic Party for this because we don't necessarily know how many people on their side was involved in this, but it was very clear that they did not want to shut that border down. It was very clear that they did not want to secure it. It was very clear that I agree, you should be humane, you should not lock people in cages, but you did not have any deterrence in place. You just processed these people and fed them the American tax dollars. With the wars overseas, it was very clear that it was handled poorly, and it's very clear that we've had presidents in the past that would have handled that much more efficiently. I've talked about President Biden's tax proposal to raise taxes by 24 to 25% on the rich, those who are making over $400,000. I find that very ironic because, again, it is self-serving because the president makes $400,000 a year. So, of course, they want to do it on anyone making over $400,000 a year because then it doesn't apply to the president of the United States. That is ironic. Why not make it $200,000 a year? Most people don't make $200,000 a year. Most people don't make more than 70. So why not make it 200 or 150,000? Everyone over 150,000 must pay 25% or more in taxes. Yes, you won't do that, right? You're just going to charge the only one probably making that money outside of the president of the United States of 400,000 or more from a job is going to be a surgeon. Literally a surgeon, and that's it. Or maybe a very high quality lawyer, top 1% of lawyers. So what you're insinuating is that, hey, the president of the United States should not be under the same rules and guidelines. Now, none of you make your money from being a $400,000 salary a year earner. No, you've probably made more than that not being the president of the United States. But where you make your money is from funding these wars and from funding your businesses through government grants, government contracts, and all other resources that are available to you. Right? There are billions in government contracts, and of course they're using it to their own pleasures and incentivized gains. And then of course you have the wars overseas that you're fighting. You got your wink agreements that you're spending over $250 billion on, and you're telling us that within a 10-year period, if you tax everyone over 400,000, 24 to 25%, you would have $500 billion in 10 years. Well, guess what? Within a 2-year period of time where you were funding this war, you spent a quarter of that. It would literally take about 5 years of those 10 years just to pay back what you spent in 2 years from a war that wasn't ours to fight in the first place. There are plenty ways to offer aid and relief. I am glad that our troops were not injured in the process, but none of our troops are paid this way. None of our troops are paid this much. None of our troops are given the ability to truly live life. I am an Army veteran myself. How much do you truly care for us? You see, we don't have the ability to truly live financially free. We are paid pennies on a dollar. Yes, we have free housing and things of that nature while we're serving. But let's be 100% clear that this type of money is not spent on the actual people laying down their lives for our families, for our country. So if we were to go out there, I would literally strap up right now. You tell me you're going to give me $1 billion to strap up right now. You will get 250 soldiers that are really ready and willing to march for that type of money. Give me $250 million and then quadruple the amount of soldiers. So now you got 1,000 soldiers willing to march on that order. Shit, we would have done it for a lot less, right? 10 million each, 5 million each, 2 million each, 1 million each, 500,000. I might do it. I might do it for 500. I don't know. I might. But $1 million, sure. I'll strap up. So I say all this to say, obviously life is precious. Nobody wants to die. I wouldn't want to die for $1 million, right? But what I'm saying is that this money is not used on the American people whatsoever. You spend money overseas for a war. You bring people in who are not United States citizens. Everything that is being spent is not being spent on United States citizens. Am I selfish for saying that, or am I just speaking facts? It could be both. Could be both. But either way, the only person who is incentivized by this is the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. And we all know that to be true. It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't relieve our tax burden. In fact, it enhances our tax burden because we have people who do not have the ability to work, people who are not able to contribute to society, people of low educational status and upbringing, who are not innovative and creative. Now, I'm not trying to classify all people because we always get those people who are like, not all people are like that. But we all know the truth. That the majority is what we speak for, and the majority are like that. And then, yes, there are people getting raped. There are people getting killed. There are people getting stabbed. Police in New York City are being threatened, beat up, and having their cars stolen by illegal immigrants and migrants. These things wouldn't happen from United States citizens. We just know better than to do those things. But someone who is already accustomed to attacking their law enforcement, they're more than willing to go out of their way and do it to some foreign law enforcement in their minds. And so now, do I honestly think that President Joe Biden has a chance of winning this year? 100% no. Absolutely not. And I don't think anyone in their right mind truly believes that it is possible. I will be the first one to admit that I voted for President Joe Biden 4 years ago. And I know, I've had friends tell me, hey, that was a horrible decision. But they did not win in the state that I'm in, right? Trump won in the state that I was in. So essentially my vote got canceled out. So don't blame me for this presidency. Now, with that being said, that would tell a lot of people. I just had a comment earlier saying, oh, Trump supporter, as if that's a diss or something. The truth of the matter is I support the best presidency possible. And I thought that was President Joe Biden at the time. And you know what? As you live, as you get older, you start to learn that, you'll make those sorts of mistakes. And that mistake was very costly. The last 4 years have been very, very costly. It stopped a lot of investments that I was doing. It stopped a lot of growth that was going on. But you know what? The next 4 years, that's for us to decide. So with this being said, President Joe Biden stated in an interview on Wednesday that should his doctors tell him that he had a medical condition, he would consider leaving office and turning over power to Vice President Kamala Harris in the second term. Another thing about the Democratic Party that I just saw an article on CNN state was that it will be very hard to skip over Kamala Harris because she is black. With all this equity and inclusion and diversity and inclusion bullshit, let me be 100% clear on that. You can't even choose the right person for the job. You can't skip over someone now because they're simply black. That is very baffling to me, to be honest with you, right? The best person for the job is the person who should be chosen. I am a proud African American. Both of my parents are African, and I am proud to have stated and witnessed and seen Barack Obama in office. That does not necessarily mean that Kamala Harris is the most fit next runner-up for president. Should she state her case? Should she be able to run just like everybody else? Absolutely. And I would definitely consider it. But that does not mean that she's just a shoo-in because she was the VP. We don't know a damn thing that she's done either. Now, I don't have a reason to dislike her in any way, but I also don't have a reason to love her either. So people need to stop voting as a cult and start to think for themselves, hey, what policies is this person running under that I should vote for them? Are they trying to make me vote for them out of fear for the other candidates? Or do they actually have a benefit that they're offering me and my family at this time? Are they going to stay true to their word? What promises have they actually held true? I want you to look back in 2019, 2020 and tell me what promises have actually been fulfilled that were promised to you when President Joe Biden got into office. What promises actually got fulfilled? Please let me know in the comment section down below. That's all I want to know is the facts, not your feelings. Now, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and on Rumble, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.